See, I'm glad I was talking to you because here is going from the house outside into another garage. And I'm going to end up putting a piece out here. I still have all that carpet in there. So I'm going to measure this. I got 16 3/4. This side is 16. At the end there, it's like they didn't frame that very well, did they? They didn't form it. 16 3/4. So I'm probably going to make this, and I can make this however I want. I can cut it to fit this. I just have to make sure I measure it properly. And then I don't have a floor mat out here on the actual concrete in the garage, do I? Now I can put a mat there. I could get a mat, or I can cut a piece. And I think I'm gonna measure from this edge, from that point in there, and that's like 17 1/2. And I can cut a strip. 17 1/2, just a long piece, and put one here if I want. Or I could just make that 12 inches. I can make it whatever I want. Okay, so that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to have a piece here so I can wipe my feet out here and then go on up. Only because I have the carpet. If I didn't have anything, could I leave everything just like this? Yeah. Could I put a floor mat down here? Just a little cheapo? Yeah. Could I put one little cheapo mat there? Yeah, probably. But because I have that carpet, I'm going to take some more measurements and I'm going to cut some for here too. Now before you start cutting any more of this willy-nilly, you've got to look at the area and make a decision. What are you going to do? Because if I cut the next piece and just measure the width of the step at 16 inches, let's say, remember this was only 38 inches long, a little less than 38 inches. And I measured over there, and that top step is 42 inches over there, and the bottom area kind of goes further, is 44 inches. So if I started cutting this, I'd start messing it up because I'd be way short, wouldn't I? So I got 16, let's just say I got 16 inches and 16 inches for the width of the stairs. That's 32 inches. And I know I've got more than 32 inches here. I got almost 38 inches, okay? So I'm going to cut this the length of my longest piece, which was 44 inches. I've got one that's 44 and one that's 42. That one step is 42 inches long. But I don't want to cut my first piece, 42 inches and then straight across, and the next one, or one 44 inches over to here and up, and the next one 42. I'm just going to cut one piece, 42 inches long, all the way across, and then I'll make my two cuts out of this, and I know I've got this full length left. I know I'll have a straight line next time to measure off of, to cut off of. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that on there at 44 inches. I'm going to do the same thing over here, 44 inches. And like I said, I am not a carpet installer, carpet person, but you don't have to either. Just with a few tools, you can do this. This chalk line, I think, in fact, I bought the chalk line, and the chalk came with it. It's a 2-for-1. You can buy a chalk line separate, or you can buy two things. If you bought this separate, it's going to cost more than if you bought both of them together. And here's something else I liked about this particular chalk line. Most chalk lines are only like this thick, and then this winder crank is attached to here. You got to crank it really super quick, and the line comes in. Well, this one, because it's a little fatter, you actually turn this once, and the line goes in probably this much further than if you had just the one right here where you have to go really super fast. It's almost twice as fast. If not, it could be actually longer or faster. See, this says speed line. That's because this crank is a little bit bigger and it's thicker in here. The crank size is bigger than before, okay? So if you can find something at the store, if you don't know what I'm talking about, ask your local sales person in the hardware department, and they'll show you, they'll steer you right. Okay. You only have to snap it once because I still have so much chalk in here. Then after a while, if you find that you have to pull your chalk line out and snap it a couple times to show, you just want to hit it and kind of move the chalk around in a little bit and hit it. Maybe pull this out and wind it back up a little bit as you're hitting it, and that will give you a little bit more chalk so that you can snap it a couple times. And I'll use this for cutting plywood, T111 siding, sheetrock, stuff like that. Okay, you can use a chalk line. I can use this chalk line for lots of other things. So it's kind of handy to have. All right. Look at that. Nice. Now I can do my measuring for those other two steps, or that one step and that back from there. Now remember, I wanted to have that first step. Well, actually, I'm going to do the bottom step. I'm going to cut that out first. And then the main step, remember, on the one side was 16 and the other side was about 16 and a half. And what I'm going to have to do is measure it strategically, so when I flop it over, I have to measure backwards on the back side or flop it over, so you kind of get the idea that 16 inches here and 16 and a half back there. And the straight part is in the back. So that's why I'm going to cut my first piece just straight. And it was 17 and a half by 44 is what I got. And I measured that, it was 44. And I'm going to do my 17 and a half now. Okay, I wasn't really going to show you this part, but I guess if you want to watch it, that's completely all right with me. I might want to look on the sides and see which edge is the straightest. And I'm just looking at the lines. And it looks like this side over here was straighter. It's looking like this was the edge when they unrolled it from the carpet or whatever. And remember I measured it before, the width. There I got 38. There I got 37 and a half. And I can see where it kind of jogs off right in here. So I don't want to use that for my straight bit. So, and if this looks pretty straight, and I can put that on the inside, because I can flip this around, because I'm making this one straight. 17 and a half. 17 and a half. And all in all, this edge will be nice and straight for the next piece, and then I'll have to flip that around. And see, now I got a longer piece, but I can still use my chalk line I'm cutting it from end to end, and I'm going to use my level, so I can just take that, kind of take some of that off. Just hold it on that line. Make sure it's lined up there. One snap is all I have to do. And I usually, it doesn't really matter what side I cut on, but the part that I'm saving, I just try to cut it from that side. It doesn't really matter if I'm staying on the line. Okay. Stay on your line. And away you go. If your blade on your sheetrock knife is not nice and sharp, you'll feel that it's kind of hard to do. And even this one, my blade was sharp to begin with before I started making this video. And you can see I haven't used it that much, that many cuts, but this back will dull your blade out nice and quick. But I think I have enough to finish this job, but the blade's going to be fairly dull just by using it this much. There. Look at that. Kaboom. Now I'll trim this off with my scissors and get ready for that next piece.